Welcome to Real Food, and today I wanted to share some interesting information with you about mushrooms and how we eat them, and why mushrooms aren't always the easiest food for our digestive system. I have discovered recently that mushrooms, and potentially what we were not actually preparing mushrooms correctly. So what I have discovered, and you can double check this by doing your own research, so don't just take my word for it. Mushrooms contain a very difficult element, and it's difficult for us to digest. It's called chitin, which it's like keratin, for example, that's used in nails and hair, which we literally cannot digest. The same actually goes for the actual outer layers of mushrooms. Apparently, this chitin, which is a component similar to keratin and other very hard types of I think it's some kind of protein that we simply do not have the enzymes and we cannot digest easily. So what happens, even if you fry fresh mushrooms, even if you fry them for a very long time, apparently you cannot break that material. You can burn it even too. I've seen experiments. This material being burned almost to ashes and charcoal, and that material is still very resistant. So it's very heat resistant and very difficult to digest. But having said that, mushrooms remain a very nutritious and a very useful food. And what you're probably wondering, what is he doing? What is that lump in his frying pan? So I've just discovered a method which apparently, well, according to some researchers, and you can do your own research and double check this, there is a method apparently of how we can digest the nutrients of mushrooms, and not struggle with chitins, all those chitins, and that are difficult to digest. So, and in order to overcome this problem, what you need to do, you need to freeze your mushrooms. And apparently, what happens when you freeze your mushrooms? It ends up being covered with layers of icicles and small, tiny crystals of water that freezes. Well, what happens? There are lots of these crystals forming within the structure of mushrooms because they do have water. And these crystals, what they do, they penetrate the structure of chitin, and they basically make this structure very easily digestible for us. So we don't have to break it down ourselves because we can't really. They penetrate all those cells, the walls of them, chitin cells, and the nutrients inside them become available. This is amazing, isn't it? So a simple act of freezing them and then cooking them gently makes it a much more useful and more digestible food. Another method, guys, that I was told, for example, if these are dried mushrooms, if they are blended into powder. So when they're blended into powder, again, the walls of chitin are broken this way, and the nutrients are available. But the problem is, when mushrooms are dry and blended very, very finely, you don't get to taste the texture of mushrooms, and you don't get to taste to feel that you're eating mushrooms. But this is also a method. I'm just saying this so that you can actually benefit from the nutrients inside mushrooms. But what I'm doing now, I've had these mushrooms frozen, so that lump in my frying pan was frozen, and I'm now defrosting them gently in this frying pan in butter. And you can see that they are defrosting themselves really easily, really nicely. So they literally start coming apart, and then I will fry them gently, and you see they have become softer, and just like this research was suggesting. So the walls, those icicles and the crystals, water crystals that form inside them, they actually penetrate the cells of the walls of the cells in them, and so I'm hoping that this will be now a more nutritious snack. So I hope this was something useful for you guys. So because I started to like mushrooms also for another reason, because apparently they contain vitamin D, a natural form of vitamin D, which is also useful, and we're we're generally deficient, pretty much everyone in the United Kingdom. And it's a natural source of vitamin D, natural source of fiber, so they are generally very useful, very lovely vegetables to consume. But yeah, if you put a little bit more preparation into them, apparently they become even more nutritious. And you can add herbs, you can add pepper, and then they become a really, really lovely breakfast, or something you could use with meat dishes, or other vegetable dishes. So I hope this was useful for you, and we'll chat again soon.